Hi, welcome to Excel 2010. We're going to begin by opening up the application, and that is called the Excel window. We're going to maximize, minimize, restore that window, and resize the window. And then we're going to open up some workbooks. Each has their own window, and we'll find out different ways to close the workbooks, and finally we'll close the application. Hey, welcome to Excel 2010. We're going to take a look first at opening up the application, Excel 2010. To do this, and to set up a way to conveniently open up the application in the future, left-click the Start button, go to All Programs, and this may be slightly different for you than it is for me, in terms of what you see here, of course, depending upon what you have on your computer. I'm going to left-click Microsoft Office, right-click Microsoft Excel 2010, and pin the program icon to the taskbar. Left-click off of that, and now, anytime I want to open up Excel, all I have to do is left-click the program icon, and there it is. This is the default view of Excel. Excel opened up a workbook for us and named it Book 1, the default name. So we have one workbook open within one instance of Excel. And this is the Excel window, and within the Excel window is a workbook window. And like any window in the Windows operating system, they work similarly, whereby you can minimize the workbook window. So now we are looking at nothing. We see Microsoft Excel in the title bar. We don't see Book 1 anymore. It's still open. It's just been minimized down to the lower left-hand corner. I can restore it by clicking on that, and we see Book 1 on the title bar once again. You can do the same thing with the program window, the Excel window, by minimizing it to the taskbar and open it back up by left-clicking the icon. You can also reduce the size by left-clicking on the Restore Down button, and from here I can grab the sidebars on the window, even the title bar, move the window around and resize it manually to the size that I may want it to be. At this point, I'm going to show you a Windows 7 functionality that I use all the time. I think it's really convenient. It's a nice feature. If you left click and grab the title bar and drag the cursor across the boundary of the right or left side of the screen, once I cross that boundary, Windows automatically resizes to do a split screen view of that window that I am manipulating. It's very easy in this way to set up a split screen and show a window on the right side and the left side. If you got to do some comparisons or copy things from one workbook to another, for instance, it's a convenient way to display your windows. So I'm going to restore this Excel window back to full screen size. Another way to have restored this window, by the way, and I'm going to left click it and reestablish the split screen view, is to grab it and drag it across the upper threshold, the threshold on the top, and it'll automatically expand to the full screen view. And just as we can restore down the Excel window, we can restore down the workbook window and move that and change the size and manipulate it in a similar way that we can the Excel window itself. I'm going to restore that back up. So we have one workbook opened up, Book 1. The easiest way to launch another workbook within this instance of Excel is to press Ctrl N. We show Book 1 on the title bar. I'm going to press Ctrl N, and now it says Book 2, Ctrl N, now it says Book 3. It's a subtle difference. It almost looks like it's renaming the workbook, but it's actually not. I've opened up two more workbooks, and I have three workbooks opened. And you can see these workbooks by hovering over the program icon, Book 1, Book 2, Book 3. Once the workbooks are displayed this way, I can go up and left-click and go to Book 2, left-click and go to Book 3. So there's navigation functionality at work with that display. There's another way to navigate from workbook to workbook using Ctrl Tab. If I press Ctrl and then Tab, I go to Book 2, to Book 3, back to Book 1, 2, 3, and I'm holding the Control key down and pressing the Tab key to do that. I'll go back to Book 1. So there's also a couple ways to close the workbooks. Like I said, we have three workbooks open. I can hover over the program icon, go up and left click this red X on book 3, and I now have only 2 workbooks. I've just closed book 3. I'm going to go to book 2 by selecting it, and conversely, instead of doing that, I can left click the X button up here to close book 2. Now I just have book 1 open, and I'll go hover over here to show you that. And to close the entire program, you left click the big red X right here. So we looked at opening up the application itself and setting up the icon on the taskbar, maximizing, minimizing, restoring down the program window and the workbook window, resizing both of those, navigating to the different workbooks that are open within the instance of Excel, closing the workbooks, and closing the application itself.